Item 4, Environmental Public Health Amendment Bill, second reading.
SMS Amy Khor.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, on behalf of the Minister for the Environment and Water Resources, I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time. Enacted in 1987, the Environmental Public Health Act, or EPHA, has been key to maintaining Singapore as a clean and green city that we enjoy. The principles and provisions of the Act underpin the National Environment Agency's, or NEA's, work on public cleanliness and waste management. We cannot take for granted our clean and green environment. The environmental services industry, which includes cleaning and waste management companies, face real challenges. The industry is struggling to meet the growing demand for their services, even with a 78,000-strong workforce across 1,700 companies. Many of the jobs are shunned by Singaporeans, who perceive them as dirty, demanding, or dangerous. The industry is heavily dependent on foreign workers. For instance, a large proportion of jobs in the waste collection industry are filled by foreign workers. The local workforce is also aging. On average, our local cleaners are 60 years old, and our local waste collectors are 50 years old. This is why we launched the Environmental Services Industry Transformation Map, or ESITM, last year. The ESITM will drive innovation and wider technology adoption, upskill workers who take on better jobs, improve productivity, and capture value overseas. These will improve working conditions and equip workers with relevant skills to thrive in the future economy. The ESITM will not take away the jobs of Singaporeans. As it is, there are simply not enough Singaporeans who want to join the sector. We need to grow a vibrant ES sector which can compete with the best in the world and provide more higher value-added jobs which can attract Singaporeans. This is the only way for us to reduce our reliance on foreign labour in the long run. Sir, it is in this spirit that we move this bill to update the Act. The measures which I will speak about will help address the challenges the ES industry faces and ensure that Singapore continues to be a clean, green and livable city for generations to come. The government has made a concerted push to expand the use of pneumatic waste conveyance systems, or PWCS, in Singapore. The PWCS is a tried and tested technology that uses air pressure to convey waste through sealed pipes from throw points to a bin centre. Earlier this year, I visited Hammarby Wollstorp, a sustainable community in Stockholm. Over there, they first implemented a PWCS more than 3 decades ago, in 1982, to collect waste from 3,000 apartments. Over the years, they have added another 2 PWCS in the area to serve 5,000 more apartments. This shift to PWCS is akin to Singapore's transition from night soil buckets to sewage pipes in our early years. It replaces the need for cleaners to manually collect waste from individual apartment blocks and bring it to a bin centre, a common sight in many condominiums and HDB estates today. This will transform waste collection and allow us to improve the standards of cleanliness and public health, even with a shrinking workforce. The PWCS will bring many benefits. These amenities to residents, such as pest and odour, are reduced as the entire system is enclosed. Developments and their cleaning contractors will save on manpower needed to transfer waste and clean villages. These jobs will be replaced by higher value-added jobs, such as maintenance technician and project engineers. These are jobs which we envision creating for Singaporeans under the ESITM. We have been taking steady steps towards this vision. Earlier this year, we made it mandatory for new development applications for non-landed private residential developments with 500 dwelling units or DUs or more to implement PWCS. This will add to the more than 140 private residential and commercial developments which have already done so on their own. We will introduce a new Part 3A to the Act to enable PWCS to be deployed at the district level beyond individual developments. We call this a District Pneumatic Waste Conveyance System, or DPWCS for short. We will implement the first DPWCS under these amendments at Kampong Bugis. As Minister for National Development, Mr. Lawrence Wong announced at last year's Committee of Supply, this is part of plans to transform Kampong Bugis into a people-centric and car-light precinct. Legislation is necessary as private developers are unlikely to, on their own, come together to embark on the district-level system, thus missing out on the benefits from scale. Moreover, as DPWCS is best implemented on a greenfield site where the sale or redevelopment of individual plots are likely to take place at different times, it would otherwise be very difficult to coordinate this implementation. By implementing PWCS at the district level, we can reap more economies of scale. For example, instead of having bin centres in each development, the district can share a central bin centre. NEA estimates that a condominium with 1,000 dwelling units that will no longer need a bin centre will save on space equivalent to one 5-room flat. Refuse truck traffic within the district will also be reduced, as refuse will only be collected from one bin centre, which can be located away from residents. HDB and JTC are already implementing the PWCS at the district level. In 2015, HDB retrofitted to the 8 blocks in Yihua Estate under its Green Print program. Feedback from residents indicated that many were satisfied with the PWCS. For example, there was a reduction in odour and pest and an improvement in estate cleanliness. The lessons from Yihua will be incorporated into the district-level PWCS in new estates, including Tampines North and Punggol. JTC is also exploring PWCS at the district level in their new business parks, such as the Punggol Digital District. Section 31F will limit the new Part 3A to premises which are not controlled or managed by a town council, constituted under the Town Councils Act. There will thus be no change to the current arrangement where town councils manage PWCS in HDB estates. Sections 31G will allow the Minister to declare DPWCS areas where owners and occupiers of premises within the DPWCS area must use the DPWCS. Where needed, Section 31H will allow the Minister to modify or revoke declarations of the DPWCS area. Before these powers are exercised, MEWR and NEA will provide advance notice to affected stakeholders in the Gazette under Section 31I. An avenue for written representation to the Minister is also provided. Section 31J will provide powers to NEA to license the vendor that builds, operates or maintains the DPWCS. This minimizes disruptions to residents served by the DPWCS by ensuring that the company taking on the project will be properly regulated. For example, one of the licensing conditions that we will require the licensee to comply with is the Singapore Standard for PWCS. The standard will cover basic requirements for the construction and installation of the network and guidelines on maintenance. Section 31K sets out the powers of the DPWCS licensee to carry out necessary works for the purposes of the DPWCS. For example, the licensee can conduct excavation works, provided the necessary approvals from authorities are obtained. These rights are similar to those provided to gas transporter licensees under the Gas Act. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, may I ask the clerks to distribute a handout. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be referring to this handout as I explain the next section, which talks about 3 key components in the DPWCS. Under Section 31L, the Director General will have powers to require owners or occupiers of premises within the declared area to connect to the refuse pipeline network. This refuse pipeline network, indicated in brown on the handout, refers to the main DPWCS network, which will be shared across the district. It will be owned and maintained by NEA or the DPWCS licensee. Individual premises would own their internal PWCS pipes. This is marked in blue on the handout and termed related internal assets. It will be the responsibility of the premise owners to maintain and operate the internal PWCS pipes. The connection to the refuse pipeline network will be demarcated by a connection point, the triangle in the handout. These will be considered part of the refuse pipeline network. Mr. Speaker, sir, to ensure the financial sustainability of the DPWCS, the new sections 31M to 31O will give NEA the powers to require owners and occupiers of premises to pay connection charges and/or tariffs where necessary. The connection charge will cover the capital cost of the DPWCS. Tariffs will cover the operating maintenance and replacement costs. Taking Kampong Bugis as an example, NEA will collect the connection charge from the master developer that is appointed to plan and develop the site. When a particular development, for example a condominium, has been built at Kampong Bugis, the tariffs will be collected by the DPWCS licensee from either the developer or the MCST when it is formed. We will also make related amendments to Sections 16(2) and 39(1) of the Building Maintenance and Strata Management Act, or BMSMA, so that connection charges and tariffs can be paid from the maintenance fund. It will also allow contributions from subsidiary proprietors to be raised for these payments. Sections 31P to 31R will make it an offence to conduct works that breaks or would otherwise affect the ground without first ascertaining the location of refuse pipes in the DPWCS area. It will also be an offence to damage the DPWCS or affect its operations. Similar provisions are found in the District Cooling Act, Gas Act and Public Utilities Act. This is to minimize inconvenience and potential public health risks to residents in the district. Section 31T will protect the DPWCS assets from distress or being liable to be taken in execution under court processes in cases where the DPWCS owner faces bankruptcy or insolvency. Under certain circumstances, the new Section 31V will allow NEA to take over management of the DPWCS under a special administration order to ensure that the DPWCS will continue to function. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, waste collection is an essential service to protect public health, but the industry is facing manpower shortages. Through implementing the PWCS, we will upgrade the waste collection industry and improve the environment for everyone. Even as we harness technology to enhance our environmental services, we must not forget the people behind them. A skilled workforce will be crucial for sustaining productivity growth as our labour situation tightens. In 2014, we introduced the mandatory progressive wage model of PWM for the cleaning sector to upgrade the skills and the wages of our resident cleaners. This was done to boost the income level of cleaners sustainably and improve productivity standards in the cleaning industry. Within 2 years of the PWM being mandated, the real median gross salary of a full-time resident cleaner had risen from $1,100 per month to $1,200 per month. Many businesses were paying cleaners above the minimum PWM wage level to attract capable staff. Sectoral productivity also improved as companies adopted technology to save man-hours and improve work conditions. In 2016, the Tripartite Cluster for Cleaners, or TCC, proposed a suite of recommendations to build on this momentum. These included yearly wage adjustments between 2017 to 2022 to sustain wage growth and an annual PWM bonus to be paid from 2020 to encourage cleaners to stay on their jobs and raise their incomes. The government had given its full support to the TCC's recommendations. This bill reaffirms that support by introducing the PWM bonus as a licensing requirement for cleaning businesses. Through amendments to sections 80G and 80H of the Act, it will become mandatory for every licensed cleaning business to provide for the payment of a PWM bonus to its eligible resident cleaners, regardless of the workers' performance. Cleaning businesses who do not comply will face financial penalties or risk losing their license, similar to how other PWM-related offences are dealt with. The Commissioner for Labour, or COL, will, based on the TCC's recommendations, specify in an order the minimum amount, frequency of payment, and eligible class of cleaners for the PWM bonus. Currently, the minimum quantum recommended by the TCC is 2 weeks of basic monthly wage. With the PWM bonus, some 40,000 resident cleaners may receive up to 4% more in wages each year. Coupled with the scheduled annual wage increments, cleaners receiving PWM basic wages today could see their salaries increase by up to 7% each year from now till 2020, when the PWM bonus is mandated. More details will be released in due course. Sir, these amendments signal our continual commitment to improve the wages of our cleaners, even as the push for productivity continues. But our efforts alone will not be enough. Employers and service buyers must also act responsibly and reward staff fairly. Only by working together can we realize our vision of a skilled and productive cleaning workforce. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this bill also seeks to enhance NEA's operational efficiency and tighten penalties against public health offences. Section 98 will be amended for greater efficiency in serving documents required or authorized under the Act. Currently, regulatory documents such as summonses must be served by hand to only the secretary of an errant company. The amendments will enable these documents to be served onto any other like officer of that company and at any location, in addition to the registered address of that company. Additionally, if the document is not intended for proceedings in court, it can now be served by fax. Many other acts, like the Environmental Protection and Management Act, similarly provide for such methods of service. Amendments will also be made to Section 86 of the Act to increase the penalties against uncooperative offenders who withhold their identification from a maximum fine of $300 to $1,000 upon conviction. This will deter belligerent offenders from hampering NEA's enforcement efforts. A similar provision can be found in the Control of Vectors and Pesticides Act. Taken together, these changes will minimize abortive enforcement work and enable NEA to optimize limited resources. Sir, Part 7 of the Act currently provides for the licensing of swimming pools, while Part 8 provides for the licensing of funeral parlors, cemetery and crematoria, and for the management of human corpses. Serious public health implications may arise from the unlicensed operations of such facilities. To guard against this risk, Sections 65 and 77 of the Act will be repealed so that stiffer penalties under Section 103 of the Act, which provides for general penalties, will apply to offences under Parts 7 and 8 respectively. This will effectively raise the maximum fine for non-compliance for both parts from $2,000 for first conviction to $5,000, in line with other offences under the Act, where penalties are not expressly provided for. The remaining clauses 4 and 8 in the bill are made for legal clarity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we must continually transform the environmental services sector to meet the challenges of the future economy. This bill marks another milestone in our efforts to develop a productive environmental services sector that is innovative and forward-looking and provide good jobs with good pay for our workforce. I have explained how we will leverage technology to manage our waste efficiently through the district pneumatic waste conveyance system. I have also shared how we will help our cleaners upskill, upgrade and earn higher wages through our tripartite efforts, even as we automate many of the tasks. We have made progress over the years, but more must be done. Businesses must proactively develop the skill sets of their workers in order to realize the benefits of a productive and committed workforce. Workers should also be nimble, adaptable, and open to learning new skills. We will continue to support our stakeholders to transform the environmental services industry. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move.